The story starts with a time lapse of 3 years ago on an island, and we see a Navy ship, where a Navy soldier says to his captain that they should also help them. The captain denies it, saying, "You know that it's futile, our weapons can't even harm those things." The captain asserts that their only hope is those hunters, and they don't have a choice but to leave all the burden to them. The scene changes, and we see a group of hunters standing in an attacking position. As soon as the monsters come, they fight with them. These monsters look like ants, but they are twice or thrice the size of any normal humans. The hunters say they should act individually and don't break their formation. If the formation is broken, they will die. Meanwhile, mages use fire magic and attack them. However, even fire magic can't kill them, resulting in the death of those hunters. The hunters are getting slaughtered one-sidedly without giving much of a fight. Suddenly, a man comes and kills the monster. He uses healing magic on the alive hunters, but the ant monsters attack him. Then, a hunter shouts his name, and healing hunter name is Byung-gu. He tells him to get down and uses lightning magic, killing them together. He calls for Yunho, and that man says, "Leave it to me," and he punches the ant monster, fighting with them. The lightning user hunter also helps him, and together they kill the monsters. All the rescue hunters say that they are S-rank hunters. Look like S-rank hunters are the powerful individual. Then, the lightning user hunters say to Byung-gu that he should have been more careful. But Byung-gu says to them that he knows they will protect him, and he just wants to save more and more humans. Then, a strange white-colored ant appears, and they say that it looks like the leader of the monsters. The lightning user, named Yoonseok, and Yuno say that they should kill this monster and charge toward it. Yoonseok uses his lightning, and Yuno uses his punch to fight with the white ant monster. Yuno crushes the legs of the ant and kills it with his strength by throwing it. With this attack, he kills it, but suddenly more ants like this appear, and Yuno uses his power to transform into a wolf. Yoonseok uses his light and throws it on the ground, and with a blast, they kill all the monsters. Then, the scene changes, and we see a man with red hair whose name is Mr. Choi. He says that he should also do his work, and he uses his power, which is fire, and he burned the red ant monster. This attracts other monsters also, and they come, including the white ants. He commands his subordinates to attack. They all run towards the monsters and attack them. The scene shifts, and we learn that more than a decade ago, portals that could connect to other dimensions and another world suddenly appeared in the world. Through these portals, many monsters and magic beasts live there. Normal humans and normal weapons can't even harm them, so those who are gifted or have some special abilities are the ones who fight with them. They are called hunters. Based on their magic power, the rank is determined for the hunters, classified as A, B, C, D, and E rank. But if a human is awakened one time, then in the future, no matter how hard he tries, his ability will not develop. The scenes changes, and the story goes for a time skip of 3 years. We see all the humans living their normal lives, and then we see a construction site. A person comes and says hi to a person named Kim. Kim asks him if he thought that he left being a hunter, whereas the other person name is Park, and he replies that his wife is pregnant with a second child, so for earning more money, he started working as a hunter again. Then we see a young man named Sung. Everyone greeted him. He is going to be the protagonist of the story. Kim also says hello to him and asks if he is eating properly or not. Seeing Kim talking to him like that, Park became curious and asked Kim, "Hey, who is that boy? Is he strong? Why is everyone greeting him?" Whereas Kim explained that it's the opposite, telling him that Sung joined them after Park left, and that kid has nicknames also. His name is the weakest hunter of all mankind. Park asks Kim, weakest, not strongest. Kim says that he got injured even at an E-rank dungeon and was hospitalized, making him the weakest hunter. So, it looks like this raid is going to be a very smooth raid since he has also come. Kim also tells him that don't let him hear this, it will hurt him, and that's why they should stop this topic. But Sung says that he heard everything, but he accepts the fact that what they are saying is true, and he is really the weakest, and he can't deny this fact. Suddenly, we hear a girl's voice, whose name is Juhi, and she asks Sung why he is injured again. Sung ignores her questions and says that it looks like they are going together for the mission, and she also ignores his question and asks him what happened to his face, where Sung says that he got hurt in the dungeon, and she tells him to be careful. Then they sit together, and she tells that she heard that he got hospitalized again. Sung says that he was the only one who got injured even though it was an E-level dungeon, whereas she asked him if there were not any healers, since if they have a healer, then there's no way that he will get injured. Sung tells that all the others were high-ranking hunters, and that's why they didn't need the healer in their team. She gets angry at them, saying but still, they should keep a healer in the party. But Sung cuts her words, saying it's alright and since he is weak, so he doesn't have the right to complain about these things. And he is used to this. He stands up and says to her that it looks like it's about we go into the dungeon. Scenes change, and we see a man saying that he is going to be the leader of this raid, and his name is Sung Cheol. And he greets them, saying nice to meet you. All the other party members agree with him since he was the strongest among all of them. Then they entered the dungeon. Sung takes his knife out and thinks that he has only a small knife with little magic power in it. And with his income, he could only afford this, and says that still, it's better than nothing. Then he also entered the dungeon. Scene changes, and we see a person standing in front of an old man and asks him how the meeting with the government went, where the old man replied that they are demanding them to stabilize the supply of goods from the dungeon. The old man says that they also make living by selling the dungeon goods that they acquired from the dungeon. He takes out a star-shaped crystal and says that these crystals are obtained by killing the magic beast, and they are known as magic gems, and they can be sold or exchanged for money. And we see Sung also have a crystal which is small compared to the one we have seen in the hand of the old man. Sung says that he did it. He finally got the first crystal. Juhi shouts his name, but suddenly a goblin attacks Sung, and he tries to fight the goblin. He stabs the goblin, but his knife gets twisted and it broke. The goblin stabs Sung with his weapon, but suddenly Kim came and killed that goblin and saved Sung from it. Sung was bleeding very badly, and Kim asks Juhi to heal Sung, and he will handle the other monster. Juhi agrees, and she starts healing Sung, and we see that all the hunters fight with the monster. And Sung was seeing all this, and he lays on the ground shivering in pain. Scene changes, and we see that the old man says that magic gems that are obtained in the dungeon and they can be made into weapons also. But their effects are not as good as magic gems. But the government's requirement is because they wanted to use them as a source of new energy, and he tells that it is safer than nuclear power, and they are more efficient than hydropower or wind power and geothermal power, since it causes less air pollution. So it's basically an idea of green energy. That's why the government is searching for a way to use magic gems and mana crystals as a source of power. But they can be acquired by the hunter through raiding the dungeon, and that crystals are a rare resource. With this, it's concluded that hunters are important in the world. Then we see that Sung and his party killed all the monsters, and they even defeated the boss monster. Then we see that Juhi heals Sung and asks him why he chose to be a hunter when he always gets hurt. This always happens to him. If this continues, then it will leave a mark or even lead to his death. Sung apologizes to Juhi, but she shouted and says that she doesn't need an apology, and she is worried about him. Then we see that the party members talk, saying they mostly got them, but there aren't many mana crystals, and that's why they can't make more money with this. Sung listens to this and thinks that is it over, and he thinks that he got only one E-rank magic gem, and it was not worth risking his life. Then a party member shouts, saying everyone come here. He showed them a cave. They tell that it looks like a double dungeon, so they want to decide what they should do, whether they should go more in the dungeon or leave from here. The captain tells everyone that they should call the Hunter Association about this. They tell that they need money. It should be fine to raid one more time in this D-rank dungeon. The captain says that you are right, but they don't know anything about this double dungeon, so they should be cautious. The captain tells them they should vote whether they will go or not. All the party members agree and put their vote on what they should do, whereas the result became equal, saying 6 votes to go and 6 for not to go. But 1 vote was pending, and this vote belongs to Sung. Sung thought he understands how dangerous D-rank dungeons are for him, but still, after his father went missing, he is the only one in the family who can earn money since his mother is admitted to the hospital, and he also has to take care of his mother's medical expenses, and he has a small sister, but she goes to school, so that's why he desperately needs money. He voted to go into the dungeon or to raid the dungeon. Scene shifted, and we see people sitting at the table or chair. Then we see a young man is standing in front of the giant black ball, and he puts his hand on it. It looks like the machine which shows their power. Then that young man takes his leave, and someone is talking on the phone that there is 1 B rank and 2 C rank hunters that have agreed to sign a contract with them. The man he is talking to is Mr. Choi, and he says that it's wonderful, and he should contract the sign with any talented person. Whereas that man says that he doesn't think that they have anyone stronger than Cha Hyun in their association. Scenes shift, and we see thieves have stolen a bag from the lady, and the lady asks people to help. Whereas when thieves are running, a girl came in front of them. She grabs the thieves and throws them into the ground. That's when we see that girl's face, and she looks very gorgeous, and she is going to be the 2024 waifu of the year. And her name is Cha Hee, and after seeing her, all the people cover her to take selfies. Look like she is quite a celebrity, but she uses her speed and takes her leave from the crowd. She is the S-rank hunter. She is beauty with brain and power. Scene changes, and we see that Sung's party is going into the double dungeon, whereas Sung says sorry to Juhi, and she asks why is he apologizing. She is angry and shouts at him, saying he is not careful for himself. If he acts like this, then he will die. But Sung bows his head and apologizes to her. Seeing him like this, she says that he can apologize to her by treating her to a meal next time. This girl is literally feeling something for Sung. Then party members say that they have reached the gate of the double dungeon. The gate looks very big, and it's very rare to see a gate like this. Then, they entered the dungeon by entering the gate. When they enter, all the fire sticks start burning with blue flame. And the place is quite big, and there are big statues everywhere. Sung notices a statue that sits on the throne, and he was the biggest among all the others. And they say they didn't see any monsters here, and they see a magic summoning circle there. Whereas they also see a tablet where something was written in it, and it was the commandment of the cartoon temple. The first thing written there is to worship the god. and the second is to praise the god, and the third was to believe in God. But Juhi tells Sung that she notices that the large statue's eyes have just moved as if it was looking at them. But suddenly the gate closes, trapping them, and they think they are trapped here. But one of the hunters says that this happens because they underestimate the dungeon and shouldn't have come here. And he takes his leave. But when he tries to open the gate, the statues beside the gate just cut the hunter and killed him. Witnessing his death, they got terrified. They start thinking what is happening right now. Sun was terrified and thinks that the person was D-rank, and he just got killed in the blink of an eye. Seeing the statues move, Sung moves his head and sees in the back at the highest statue. He was terrified, but then the statue also moves his eyes suddenly. Sung says that he was always in a life and death situation since he got separated from his team in the first mission and always gets hurt in the dungeon. He thinks that all his life he was always in a life-death situation. And it goes on and on. Then, he shouts to get down to everyone. But it was too late and the biggest statue uses a laser beam from his eyes and killed some of the hunters in the blink of an eye. They are now terrified, and they just don't know what is happening because they can't do anything but scream like a madman thinking what is happening. Sung thinks that they are trapped here and there is no way out. At this time, he is going to die, and he was shivering in terror just by seeing the statue.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.